Jamnya. Tahu.
Assalamualaikum, hi, and a very good evening, everyone. Welcome to our special event, Late Night Table Talk Legal, brought to you by the Mooting Club. I, Mizi, and Nina will be your moderators for tonight's event. For your information, the objective of today's event is to enlighten everyone with tips on how to edge our final exams and our challenging law school journeys, as well as expose the mooting members on how to enhance their mooting skill. There will also be a Q&A session towards the end, where the audience can ask the speakers anything they want to save your questions for then, okay? And of course, the Coco Marks will also be provided for everyone. And for your surprise, we have invited some special guests and experienced guests with us today. And plus, all our speakers for today were the acts of the high committee members of ASiD Mooting Club.
Okay, so I am so excited to introduce everyone the amazing experienced speakers we have for tonight. It is truly a blessing to have them here with us. All right, so first of all, we have Nur Kamalin Aisyah binti Muad Nur. How are you, Kamalin?
Hi everyone, hi Nina and hi Mizi. I'm fine, thank you. First of all, please drop the horrifics. You can just call me by my name and call the rest of us by our names. It's fine. Yeah, I am fine. Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you, Kamalin. Thank you, Kamalin. I'm sorry. How are you? So next is Muhammad Ashraf. How are you, Ashraf?
Well, hello there. Alhamdulillah, I'm all good, all fine. And it's good to be back here once in a while addressing the juniors. I do hope all of you are, keeping well, especially since your final exam is getting closer and closer. Yeah, back to you, moderator.
Okay, so next is Muhammad Amar Aiman. How are you?
Waalaikumsalam. Hi guys. My name is Amar. You can just call me Amar. Drop the horrifics like what coming into to us. Yeah, to you. So hi Nina. Hi Mizi. Glad to be here once again. Yeah.
We're glad to have you here. And the fourth speaker is Nur Alisa Sofia. How are you, Sofia?
Hi everyone. Yeah, same thing. Just drop the horrifics because it sounds horrifying. So yeah, just call me Sophia.
Okay, and Darif Imran, Nafis, how are you doing today?
Well, greetings and hello everyone. Hello Mizi, hello Nina, and hello to my friends as well as everyone. I hope you're fine. And just drop down honorifics too, please. I'll say that I'm fine right now. Alhamdulillah.
That's glad to hear. And last but not least, it's Chazwi bin Sabadi. How are you doing this evening?
Don't think he's here.
Yeah, he's gone. Okay, moving on. So that now we've known our speakers, let's start with the first question. This one is for Kak Sofia. Kak Sofia, since the finals, the big scary finals are around the corner, do you have any tips for us to score excellently and just be a better, smarter law student in general?
Okay, so hi, good evening everyone. So again, it's just Sophia. Okay, so for finals, typically it's literally the same thing that any law student would tell you. Like you won't get enough sleep. I mean, to me, when you're studying, your time is yours until it's stated otherwise. Meaning to say, you can do whatever you want with your time because whatever it is, that will be your own results. But just think that whenever you're working, your time won't be yours unless stated otherwise. Meaning, you won't be free unless the people you work with say that you will be free. Okay, so the thing is, don't stress yourself out too much because at the end of the day, you know what you want and you can prioritize yourself. But if you ask me, I think people tend to forget that where do good come from? Good come from God. So whatever you do, just go back to Him, and inshallah, you'll find your way back. Yeah. Do you want me to elaborate more? as in specifically for tips or?
That would be great.
All right. So okay. So for tips, what I always do is I'm not much of a night owl. Meaning to say I stay up, yeah, but it's only up to 3 because I will always just like I sleep at 3 and then I wake up at 5:30. I start my day at 5:30. And what I like to do in the morning is I love to read cases. So what I have is a compilation of cases in a table because when you as I'm alhamdulillah I got into law school. So yeah, I'm doing my degree in law school. So it is very practical. It's not necessary to have aesthetically pleasing notes. It's literally just whatever you have with you, you know. And what I always do is also don't have so many things. Meaning like let's say, um, you have your digital notes. Okay, you have your digital notes. Okay, so like me, I don't have my life together because I don't have an iPad. So I literally just use physical books. So don't have physical books, and then you have papers, and then you have your digital notes. Like it's all over the place. You have so many subjects, and you have so many notes going around. So the thing is, do notes make ada satu je. Biar ada satu je benda. Maksudnya macam I will bind, maksudnya macam kertas banyak-banyak kan. So you bindingkan dia. Kalau you kat Dengkil pun ada je. Abang tu dah kenal dah siapa Sofia sebab selalu sangat pergi print, selalu sangat pergi binding. So binding, lepas tu you tulis tu dekat situ. It doesn't have to be aesthetically pleasing or if it's your way, do it. But I don't. Just make your notes practical because you're the one who's using it. So like do what you want. Don't follow people. Don't follow people because you know your priorities. Like my friend, he literally just don't want to relapse. So what he did, he just achieved the bare minimum and he got where he wanted. So he didn't die and he graduated. Do your own. Don't be pressured by people. Yeah. So is there
Okay.
a follow-up question or?
What about like hard subjects like Law 034? Do you remember? Legal theories.
Yeah, of
legal
course.
theories. Yeah. So this one, so many people are struggling with it, and many people keep telling me what an incredible tutor you are. So like, do you have any tips to share for 034?
Well, the incredible tips are follow my notes, tiba. No. Okay. No, it's literally just cases. It's literally just cases and scoring on how to answer I like. I kind of don't get it how people still don't know I like when they get into SEM 2. I mean, like, what were you doing in semester 1? Bro, just, okay, study the I like properly because if you know how to answer it, it's literally just the same template answer every time you answer. Literally just the same. And what I always do is I answer past year questions and it doesn't have to be a full answer, you know. Sometimes I just go down to Anjong and while waiting for my friends, I would have that printed printed laws, printed past year questions, and I would just gariskan. Okay, this the issue is simple, kan? Issue dia tu, itu dah issue sebab issue satu line je. And then for the law part, kan dia kena ada 5 benda. Dia kena ada the first thing you need is the definition. Contoh is about equality. So the definition of equality. And then you need the provision. So provision mana? Or section, Article 8, clause 2. And then you have the provision and then you have the pembahagian kategori. Maksudnya equality tak adalah. Maksudnya macam contoh apa yang ada kategori discrimination. Discrimination. So you have the negative direct discrimination and then positive direct discrimination, negative indirect, positive indirect. Macam tu kan. And then the fourth thing you need to include is the cases itself. So case tu tak perlu ingat banyak pun. Ingat mana-mana fakta ataupun the material facts yang you nak apply. Contoh in the case of equality tu, tak kisahlah, nanti panjang pula. Nanti I tutor kat sini kan payah pula. Okay, lepas tu the last thing you need is the, can't remember lah, 5 benda lah. So, I tulis 5 benda tu je. Maksudnya, okay, what provision is this? Okay, tajuk dia equality. So, apa definition equality? Tulis je. Maksudnya tak perlu type tak perlu answer properly. You just know the points because at the end of the day, dalam exam, you memang akan ada points je. Masa exam, I tak study tau. I sumpah belik je jawapan. I belik slides, I belik jawapan. Tu je. Masa study week tu. I dah tak stress myself out lah. So you should have your answers now. You should have your tutorial answers now.
Thank you, Sophia. That was really helpful. Okay, so moving on, Ashraf. Ashraf, can you briefly tell us about your experience throughout the foundation of law, such as what you've learned that would help us? And is it possible if we want to continue our studies abroad?
I think he's having connection issues.
Oh man. Anyone would like to answer this one? Darius, can we hear from you?
Yeah, sure. Regarding experience in law school, considering that we are still in the COVID-19 pandemic, then I appreciate that it is quite difficult, especially as we have just transitioned from the world of SPM, where everything is exam based, up to assignments where everything is like you have to do everything as a group or individually, but you have to perform your own research and try to adhere to rigid specifications. But as for me, my personal experience in foundation in law is that although it was it was bothered by COVID-19, but I'd say it was great. I managed to meet a lot of people a lot of people that have continued their studies to various law schools as well as different courses. And I think that it is very important to build a network of people because in the future in your career you can definitely rely on them in order to further your career prospects. Just ask Kamali, just ask Sophia, and personally I will say that just find your passion really, because one of my passion is making notes, as the other classmates will attest to, as well as answering past year questions, just like Sophia. Yeah, maybe to be honest, I was a bit of a studious person and do not have much of a social life, but I stayed active and I stayed active and communicated a lot with these great guys, and that's why they managed to land. They managed to land in where they managed to land in the dream law school. So for that, I respect them, and I hope and I hope you can make all of us as kind of ideals, should I say, in achieving your dreams in the future. And as for overseas, I actually it's possible to use our Asasi results in order to continue our studies in law abroad. But there are some caveats. Okay, so for example, certain universities in the UK, Australia, and New Zealand, they do accept foundation results. However, there are some caveats. For example, you have to apply for the foreign universities via UCAS, and your choices really are only limited to English common law countries. And even then, you have to answer. You have to seek for IELTS in addition to MWET if you really want to further your studies overseas merely using your foundation results. And then, unlike studying in local universities, you study abroad for only 3 years. But when you come back to Malaysia, if you want to practice, you have to seek for the notoriously difficult CLP examination, of which the passing rate is only up to 20%. Really, however, if you still want to study in the UK, then there is an option to bypass the CLP law, and then once you return to Malaysia, you can go straight to chambering. The condition is after you finish your studies in the UK, you have to stay there for an extra year and sit for the bar examinations. Once you pass, you will be able to return to Malaysia and then go straight on to chambering, because membership of the bar in the UK is accredited by the LPQP, and therefore you don't have to go through the arduous process of studying for the notoriously difficult CLP examinations, because the CLP examination is already covered by the final year of our LLB degree programs in accredited universities in Malaysia, such as all the public university law schools and also MMU. So yeah, that's a bit of my 2 cents regarding on my experience as a foundation student, as well as your potential for studying abroad using your foundation results. In other words, yes, you can. So thank you.
Nina, I would like to add on a little bit
Yes, sure.
regarding the question of if I believe the question would be what I learned in my years dekat Dengkil for 1 year and how do you want to study abroad, right? So the study abroad part, it was deeply elaborated by Zarif. So I think everyone can understand from that. But um, there, when I habis my foundation in Dengkil, I did want to pursue my degree abroad. However, yeah, it's you need to do a lot of things. But if that's your passion, so be it. Just go for it, right? But if you're not be if you don't have the chance to just sample your degree abroad, worry not. There's I'm not sure about UKM. Kalau UKM, you can ask Shazwi. Tapi as for UM, we have this like student exchange program where you take like a year, 1 sem off and just go abroad for you to study abroad. And I do have a few seniors who actually, I believe they're in Texas now, studying law, and they put off a year of their studying in UM. Okay, so that's about study abroad. But don't worry, wherever you go, you can always just study. It's all good. Regarding the things that I learned while I'm in Dengkil, oh, I'm so sorry. This session, I actually want it to be like a chill session, macam, like lepak session, just talk, right? Okay, so don't need to be so formal. Okay, so for what I learned during my study year at Asasi was, honestly, I am not that friendly. My circle of friends is very small, and which includes a few people in this meet themselves. All right, but it backfires, okay, when you go into degree, because you have to know the legal faculty, the legal industry is a very small industry. The law faculty in is very small. Like, people here know people there. So you cannot it's inevitable for you not to make a connection. And connection is very important, be it in other industry pun lah sekali. Because that's where you are able to grow. You meet new people, you mature yourself, you're growing, right? So what I learned in my years in Dengkil is that you can never do things by yourself. Back in Dengkil, I used to like doing things by myself because I feel like nobody gets the way I work. I like to work by myself, I like to do things by myself. Yeah, as Amar, he was one of my group mates for most of my assignment, so he gets it. But you need to know, once you start entering degree, there would be a lot of workload as a law student. So from there, you need connections, you need friends to help you go through that. You cannot, honestly, guys, for Malaysian legal system in the degree, I read the pro forma of the courses. Ada about 70 cases that you have to read per sem, okay? And you cannot read this um cases 26 page tu alone. So you need to have a group of friends, a group of reliable friends where you can exchange note. Like what Sophia mentioned just now, she made case notes. I believe that we all do the same thing because you don't have enough time to go through 70 cases at your study weekend, tak ada masa kan. So as you really need to start, do it now. No last minute plannings. Last minute plannings in the law faculty, it doesn't work. Because there's no like A, B, C, D answers. They're all answers that you need to write, macam cerita that is so long. So my tips would be no last minute jobs. Manage your time and also build connections, and don't work alone because sometimes it can be stressful, and I've been there, done that, and as I see, was like a very stressful for me for my first sem because I don't have that much reliable group mates. But during my second sem, it's getting easier for me since I know the people I'm working with are my friends, and we can do things efficiently, I guess. So yeah, that would be my tips on surviving asasi. By the way, you guys are doing it online, right?
Yep, it's on online.
Yeah, online would be much more challenging because you cannot see your friends, right? So I and Amar and basically we all here met online, and alhamdulillah we work out well. So what matters is that you need to find friends that are reliable. I know it's hard because you barely know each other and now you're online, but we got to work it out. So yeah, I think that's my take on your question just now. Thank
Okay,
you very
thanks
much.
so much to Zarif and Kamalin.
Okay, so next one. Actually, we already prepared questions for all the panels tonight, right? So I think this next question is right and suit for you, Kamalin. So for you guys' information, all the audience, Kamalin was the former president of UiTM Dengkil's Mooting Club. Therefore, we would like to hear her opinion in regards to the following question. Kamalin, can you share a few key aspects of mooting presentation, such as the mental and oral preparation, and what we need to prepare before we present our submission to the judge?
All right. So basically, it's all mooting related, right? I would say mentally, the preparation for mooting would be exhausting. Because what we did, we couldn't we're unable to do a mooting competition because we it's hard to do that online. So instead, we opt for a mooting demonstration instead. Mooting demonstration was also exhausting. Okay. Usually you'll get the question prior, uh, I think 1 or 2 weeks before the actual mooting competition, and there you really need to draft all your answers and put it in the submission. So one of the key points that I can actually say about how to create a submission, um, I think you just use ILAC. You apply ILAC and use that in your submission. For every issues, you lay down the issues, you lay down the laws, the application, and also the conclusion. Because in mooting, there are a lot of issues that can be discussed. Okay, so that is, I think ILAC is a perfect guide for beginners to know how do you do a submission. Okay, so mentally preparation, it's exhausting and it's draining. That it's just a demonstration, but it's very draining. Although it's online, but I all the committees and all the mooters are actually very committed to their work, and that's what makes it easier. Um, orally, for mooting, for when giving out your submission, I would say the best way is to fake it till you make it, which means confidence. You never know whatever you say tu betul ke tak betul ke. You never know. It's not an exam where you got macam scripted answers and all that. It's a competition, right? So whatever it is, you just really have to fake it till you make it. You know, but make sure even when you fake it, don't go blabber on something that is not related to the issue. That's why you have the duration period to do your research. Because if you fake it, but you're talking about the different laws which is not related to the question, you're not gonna look smart. Okay. So yeah. And as for how to, I would say that the key tips on being a law student is basically your presentation. Not how you speak is another thing, but just the first impression when people see your physical appearance like matters. I don't say yang you kena macam cantik sangat, tak adalah, tapi you need to look neat and tidy. Okay. Black and white is not something that's uncommon. You need to have, you wajib ada black and white as a law student. And I believe that one of the tips that I have to elevate your appearance is, wearing a watch. Wearing a watch would make you look like you are a little bit superior than the others who are not wearing a watch. Although your watch is not working, but no one is going to know that. you just, you look nicer when you have a watch on, something like that. For girls, make sure your tudung are okay. Put a little bit of makeup on. Um, Smell nice. For guys, tuck in your shirts. All that basic ethics of wearing a formal clothing, I would say. Yeah, I think that's all. Did I answer the question regarding mooting?
Yes, totally. So thank you, Kamalin, for the useful tips. And no wonder she was the former president, right? Okay. Um, so for the next question, we would like to have Amar Aiman to share his thoughts and experience. Amar, what are the processes that you go through to produce written submissions for mooting?
I'm sorry. Am I audible? Like, because my connection is
Yes, yes,
pretty
dengar.
bad here. Okay, I'm okay.
Yes.
So the question is about the process on how you go through in writing a submission, right?
Yes.
Alright, so it was lagging just now. So I mean, like mooting, yeah, I was part of the mooting demonstration with, of course, our beautiful judge, Miss Kamalin, and also Mama Ashraf, and also there's another person called another person named Aina. Yeah, she's not here. Well, the process that I go through during the submission is, of course, really, really thorough. I did it with Alisa Sofia, Miss Alisa with Sofia. She was my junior counsel. I was the senior counsel. I think you guys can check the mooting on Facebook. That's the recording is still there, I think. Yeah. So the process that I go through is mainly you read the case and use I like what Kamini stated earlier. I like really plays a role in writing the submission or of course memorial. So that you really need that. And the process that I go through that I really went through is read and understand the situation. We got a question last year. It was about a teacher and also a student. It was in Dengkil. I mean, the situation was in Dengkil whereby the girl called named Zara, she almost drowned without the teacher's supervision, the lecturer's supervision. So I was acting on behalf of the girl. So I was, of course, the respondent during that time. Yeah, I was the respondent. So the process that I went through is, of course, read and understand the situation, what happened. Okay, the girl fell into the water and she almost drowned. So always highlight that points, understand the situation. And secondly, I would just highlight the points, just name me highlight all the key important aspects of that situation, what is going on. And also from the highlighted points that you have, try to form a legal issue. I think we learned about that in 03, don't quite remember. Yeah, we form a legal
Three,
issue
four,
from
three, four.
that, and from Shifor, yeah, form a legal issue from that, and of course just use highlight from there on. Just write what the principle is, because in my case it was about negligence. So of course, negligence has its three elements: the duty of care, and also you have to prove whether there was a breach of duty of care, and also to prove whether there were damages, and of course also we have to include all the cases too that are relevant. So it's pretty detailed. So you need all of that, and mainly just focus on negligence, what to the principle of law, then move on to the application. How do you apply the principle of law in that? It's basically I like we just used I like, and mainly after that you just have to focus on what to say and make sure you speak clearly in mooting, because that really plays a role. And also the timing is really important, because I was only given 10 minutes. 10 minutes was given for my submission. Also for Sophia too, she was also given 10 minutes. So that is the process lah of writing the submission. It's mainly I like, and also remember, give the principle of law there, then like negligence, make sure it's detailed, and of course provide all the necessary cases. You don't have to include cases just in the book. You can search for other cases too. Like I found cases in other books such as the Noshaya Talib Book of Thoughts. I have it right here. And also with the help of my esteemed junior counsel Sophia, we managed to find something on professional negligence, which is about professionals not giving their best in performing their duty. So yeah, pretty much that's it lah. For how do you want to write a great submission, especially in mooting. Yeah.
Okay, so that's all. Thank you, Amar. That was very convincing.
Okay, so moving on to Ashraf. Ashraf, is your connection okay now?
It's better than before. I apologize for the earlier interruption that I have my internet.
No need to apologize. Okay, so Ashraf, we all know what a great speaker you are. So in mooting or not mooting, just debate and everything, right? What makes an excellent rebuttal, and is there a way to identify loopholes in your own points?
Okay, so your question concerns around what makes a good rebuttal and how
Yeah.
you want to identify loopholes in your own points. Okay, so in a setting or a debatorial setting or anything of that nature, you have in a rebuttal there are three things that you have to identify, which is the first one being scanning. You scan the entirety of your argument, or in a competitions scenario, you identify the opponent's you scan their argument. Second one, you look at the loopholes in it. You look at one that does not make any sense, the one that contravenes reason, the one that when implemented it would bring out more harm than good. Now the third one is that you want to crush that argument, you want to crumple it and throw it away. But there's another process involved in that one afterwards, which is that uh, you want to um, you want to amend the matter. But by amending, I mean that you want to propose a better. You want to propose a better solution to it. So let's say if your opponent, for example, he states this one particular case, say that we should address this matter like this and like this. But you see loopholes in his argument, saying that if it were to be implemented, it would defeats the purpose of the motion itself, which is to achieve the objective of the debate. So let's say if the debate revolves around helping the poor, and if the other side propose a particular policy of handing out more money to them, then you might, by logic, use basic economics. So let's say if there's too much money in the hands of the public, there would be inflation. So this inflation, it would do no good, considering the fact that the prices of goods and the overall cost would increase. So what you propose is that this policy, in the long term, it cannot work. It is disastrous. It is anti-practical. So what I would propose is that you can say that instead of doing that, you want we want to regulate the prices of goods. Okay, because the poverty nowadays is because of the ever rising cost of living. So to address the problem there, you just tell the government to lower the price of goods and regulate it. So that is what I mean by amending the situation. You don't just leave the argument hanging there. You amend it by implementing a follow-up procedure. So what was the second question again? If you may repeat that.
When rebutting, like how can we identify our loopholes, mistakes, all of that?
Okay. So if that's your question, then I suppose that let's just take a second person point of view. Is that what would you do if you were to if you were debating against yourself? So put yourself in the position of the other person, of your opponent. So what would he say? So we are all granted with the capability to reason, the mind, and the fact that we are all critical thinkers. um, so there's this one particular practice in the debate community where you build up your own argument, and you smash it down again and again, until you find a solid one that cannot be rebutted easily. So it is very much a very try and error kind of process. It is not something that it is not something that you can receive in just a matter of a few days. No, it is something that you inculcate through hours, through days, through months, and through years of practice. It will come by itself. So I guess this is not something that you can learn in just a matter of mere months, but it is something that you inculcate and you learn from throughout the course of your career. That's it from me. Back to you, moderator.
Okay, thank you so much, Ashraf. That was really great.
Okay, so moving on to our next speaker for tonight, Shazui. Shazui, can you hear me? Okay,
Yes, I
great.
can hear you.
So, okay, so, Shazui, many of us has been wondering, how do we know if continuing law school and heading towards a degree in law is the right choice for us? That would be the
All right.
question. So I think um, he's having connection problem. So
I
any
can
one of
take the
you? Okay.
question.
Oh, there he is.
Fuzzy, can you speak?
Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah,
Yes,
yeah.
yes, we can.
All right. I'm sorry for my poor connection, and I cannot turn on my camera. So I will have to introduce myself first because I didn't get to introduce myself earlier. So I'm Shazim bin Sabidi, and I'm one of the high committees last year for the Mooting Club, and I was one of the media, part of the media team. So what was the question again?
So the question will be, how do we know if continuing law school and heading towards a degree in law is the right choice for us?
Okay, that's a very good question. To be honest, we never really know what do we want to do when we grow up. Even though people at age of 19, even 30s, even 40s, they also may not be sure of what they want to do in their life. So that includes me, someone who's still young, who's still learning more about the world. I also had problems, had dilemmas to continue my studies, whether I should continue it in law or IR or other courses that I can take lah. So
I think he's gone again.
I think I can take the question.
All right,
So,
thank you.
for the question, the short answer is no, you don't. You don't know what you're supposed to do. Um, I am rethinking this degree every minute of my life. Like, am I suit? Am I even suit to be a lawyer? Am I even okay to take law? So again, the answer is you'll never know. But
hello, sorry,
hello, Fuzzy.
so sorry for my poor connection.
It's fine. What do you want to continue?
Yeah, do
Yes,
you
yes,
want to
I want
continue?
to continue this.
Okay, okay.
So where did I stop just now? I stopped at whether I should take the other courses that other than law.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
when I always think about the expectations that I had from my parents and my other family members lah, because when I take law in Asasi, they will always expect me to continue to further my studies in law, in degree in law. However, my parents are very supportive as they do not force me to go on with law if I don't want. So, but however, as a child who bears the responsibilities of helping our parents when they grow old, I would force myself to push myself to take the degree in law, even though it's quite draining and mentally exhausting. So even so, personally, my one of my teachers even encouraged me to take the degree in law because he taught me English back in high school, so he's a very great teacher and he knows me quite well lah. So to know whether you are to further degree in law is correct or not, it's up to you, and it's okay for you to not further it in law, but you have to follow the voice of your heart. And if you think you can do it, then go for it. If you think you can't do it, then it's okay. But if you still want to force yourself to do it, then you just go for it, because in the end, all that we need is hard work, and we can achieve anything. Thank you.
Yes, thank you, Shazi, even though he is facing problem, but still wants to share his thoughts. So, yes, Nina, do
Easy.
you?
I'm so sorry for interrupting, but I do want
Yes,
to put on a little. I do want to add something.
sure, sure.
Um,
Okay, go ahead.
Guys, the people who are watching this video from YouTube, this live stream from YouTube, don't be pressured to pursue a degree in law just because you came from foundation of law. It doesn't work that way. Okay, fine, you cannot take science, but it's okay if you know you're not macam mana, it's not a set track that if you are someone who comes from foundation or law, or you punya A levels, you took something related to law, you need to continue to pursue law in your degree. It's not something that is set up that way. You know, if you want to pursue law, by all means, if you're that passionate about it, then go for it. But if you think that, you know, during asasi you feel like, you know what, I'm not compatible with this one, you know, I cannot read cases, so much cases, banyak sangat law yang I kena hafal. Lepas tu macam susah nak explain, susah nak apply this law on my daily life or the daily macam situation dia bagi kat question. Then don't give yourself unnecessary burden yang you kena pursue law kalau you dah ambil law in the first place. It doesn't work that way. Okay. I have a senior who is dah graduate from but he took law, but he didn't pursue for his chambering. Chambering is what you have after you finish your degree. You need chambering for you to be called to the bar for becoming an advocate and solicitor. He didn't go for his chambering. He worked at a TV station, D-Date TV, if I'm not mistaken. So he said that after I finish my law degree, I don't feel like going for chambering. I don't feel like I want to become a lawyer or anything on the legal field. So he decided to go for entertainment field, which is okay. And once you enter a law degree, if you want to pursue law degree, but halfway you rasa macam it's tiring, I don't want to become a lawyer anymore, then it's okay. Don't drop out of it lah. Of course, you have to continue what you've started. That's why before you start it, you need to like think thoroughly what you nak jadi sebenarnya. Tapi kalau you tak tahu nak jadi apa, it's okay. Because the job scope for your legal degree, it's a lot. Okay, it's not exactly, oh, you kena bekerja kat mahkamah. You kena jadi lawyer tak. Okay, there's a lot of things that you can do with your legal degree. So I know most of us, we don't know what we're going to be, okay? But we do have a dream, right? And we want to work towards that dream, right? So like what Shazwi said just now, we don't know. We can never be sure what we want to be. So whatever your passion is, so be it. You know, just go for it. Don't set your mind macam, oh, I come from this background, so I kena pursue, I kena jadi lawyer. Because my high school, I came from a science stream line, and halfway through that, I feel like, you know what, I don't want to continue anything with science. I don't think that it's compatible for me. So macam tak nak lah masuk science. So it doesn't mean that I came from science stream, I kena ambil doctor, I kena ambil pharmacy, I kena jadi seorang yang circulate dekat science field. No. Same goes, the same theory applies to when you are, you know, when you came from foundation in law. You don't have to be a lawyer if you don't want to. Okay. So whatever your passion is, just follow your passion, and don't give yourself unnecessary stress about what you want to be. Okay, you have, you know, 6 years of study lagi. So don't burden yourself with all that thoughts, and just have fun, guys. Really have fun.
Just to add, because I might be leaving after this. I took law out of spite. Like, I literally just wanted to get out of my parents' planning. Like, they wanted their first daughter to become a doctor. And although I did got assistant higher in and although I did got excellent marks for, you know, SPM and stuff, but I didn't want to follow them. So I took law out of spite. Biggest risk I ever took, and I'm still not sure. But because it was I didn't have a safety net. Unlike Shazwi, my parents weren't supportive at all. I got 3.96 for my pointer, nothing. So what kept me going, like, until I got into University Malaya, is that you need people, but the most important person you need is yourself. Because if you don't believe in yourself, then you won't. So just to wrap up this question, I just want to say that I was never a top student. I was never passing the average bar, ever so smooth, ever so effortlessly. The end results will always be just enough. I got band 5 Moet all because of that one mark. If I didn't have that one mark, I would get band 4. But I got band 5. I got into using UPU, I literally got just 0.01 cukup-cukup je. Kalau tak, I tak boleh apply UM pun. And I did. I did. You know, it's just, it didn't have to be enough for anyone else. It didn't have to be enough for anyone else. It didn't have to be proud for someone else. It just had to be enough for me. It just had to be enough for yourselves. So in times of loss and despair, it was the belief of something bigger than me, something bigger than all of us is at work here that kept me going. I can try all I want, I can do everything I want, but everything must happen with his permission. Because without believing that, the feeling of being powerless and helpless would have eaten me alive a long time ago. So I think that's just all you have to remember. Like, something greater than us is at work here. All you have to do is do it properly, do it correctly, no cheating, no shortcuts, do it as you should.
Thank you, Sophia. Thank you, Kamalin, for that answer. So I think we proceed to the last question, Nina.
Okay, so this is the last question before the Q&A. So this one is just a very santai one. I just like, can we have like a brainstorm of tips from everyone here to like for final CGPA 4.0? But I'm sure you all have your own tips and hacks and study secrets. I don't know, which won't be a secret anymore. So can we start with Ashraf?
Okay, so you're asking for tips. Well, for starters, what I would do for my exams is that I would make notes throughout the course of my study, from high school, foundation, and even now until degree. Now that is a must. But okay, now that's a given. But what you have to do, if you want to be better, you help others as well. You teach other people of things that they do not understand, because at the same time, if you were to teach them that way, then you would inadvertently help yourself as well, because if you are able to teach something, that means that you are able to understand it. Isn't that correct? So what I did was that, I snapped my notes, the notes that I make on paper. I scanned them and distributed them to my friends in the forms of PDF. So if there were to be any confusion among them, I would be more than glad to address them. So in that regard, when you help others, you are actually helping yourself, because you do good and good will come to you. Now, the second one is that you don't stress out. You manage your time properly. It is a given lah that we law students tend to lose on some sleep, but don't make this a habit, because life is more than just sitting in front of your laptop, sitting in front of your books, reading them and whatnot. Go out, explore the world, breathe in some fresh air, and make friends, laugh together. Do not just confine yourself to this very plain notion of life. Life is more than just that. So the final one being is that you must have the correct manners and attitude. Now, this is not something that is often described nor emphasized upon by many, because it may seem superficial to some. But akhlak, adab, budi itu adalah satu perkara yang penting. Imam Shafi'i was once quoted by saying that if you want to learn, kalau awak nak menjadi berilmu, if you want to be a knowledgeable person, then be a person of virtue first. Jadilah orang yang beradab terlebih dahulu. Because knowledge is something good, something that is inherently pure, something that is inherently correct. How can it inhabit in someone yang hatinya yang kurang ajar, the one who does not possess virtue, the one that does not possess manners, yang kurang ajar pada orang lain? So so the recap of what I said just now was that you must have virtue, you must have the knowledge, and you must put in the effort. You have those three, inshallah, all the good will come to you. But personally, I would say that I'm not exactly the brightest student myself. There are many others who are brighter than me. But alhamdulillah, with what little that I give, God had blessed me with, a position in UM, and also a scholarship by Yayasan Khazanah, alhamdulillah. And I'm pretty sure that all of you here would be able to perform better than me by a very large margin. That's it. Back to you, moderator.
Thank you, Ashraf. Okay, so now we would like to have Zarif to share his experience and sharing whatnot.
All right. So regarding final examinations, like, yeah, I have to admit that it can be very difficult for some, especially in the first semester, because we are not that exposed yet to the format of how we are trying of how to answer questions. And I have to admit, it does take time for you in order to fully understand topics. So what I will say is that I'm going to echo Ashraf's sentiments regarding on group and teamwork. You really have to find a way of studying, and if possible try to integrate your square of friends into your studying manners as well, according to their level of comfort, because of course within our sphere of friends or classes, there will always be that outstanding student or two. And I will say that it is very imperative that you ally yourself with them. But hopefully but if you consider yourself as one of these outstanding students, then don't be arrogant. Don't look down on others just because you see like, oh okay okay mama ni mungkin tak nampak macam level aku. No, the key here is that as law students, as part of social science students, we have to help each other, because the reading the amount of reading and studying that you have to perform by yourself is simply intense and may burn out people. So by studying in groups, I will say that I will say that people will be very indebted to you when they achieve the success later, because you just lowered the bar you just lowered the intense bar required for you to achieve success and fully understand law topics. So as for personal study topics, I would say that find a way that is suitable for you personally, because I think of myself as a rather fast type. I type my notes as they go during lectures, and then after each class, I'll try my best to convert them into graphical notes and share them with my classmates or a square or a group of friends, just so that they can fully comprehend better the topics that we have taught just now. In addition, I will say that past year that sharing past year question attempts with everyone will be immensely helpful, because not only will you be able to finally understand how to tackle ILA itself, but also inadvertently, when people will point out, okay, this is your room for improvement, and you can know it. And I will say that my final tip is, try to get as close to your lecturer as possible, but within a comfortable radius, I would say, because of course we are all humans. And especially as both students and lecturers alike, we both have a lot of domestic responsibilities to cope with too. So I would say that, try if you have problems regarding academic knowledge in law, try to reach your lecturers first, because they are they are more of an expert than we are as students. So hopefully they will provide you with an avenue, because remember, lecturers are professors, and as a professor in your MK once said, teachers teach, but professors guide you to the fountain of knowledge. So wouldn't it be great to enjoy the fruits of the fountain of knowledge in the first place? So that's just part of my tips that served me well during the foundation. This, as the fellow panelists will agree. And I hope it will be really helpful for everyone currently studying foundation in law right now. So back to you, moderator. Thank you.
Thank you, Zarif. So can we hear some thoughts from Amar? Amar?
Nina, I think you can pass it on to Sophia first, since the library is closing down.
Oh, okay. Kak Sophia, do you want to add anything to tips, CGPA, 4.0, all of that?
Oh, yeah. Okay, so for CGPA, you literally don't have to score for flat. I mean, it will be nice to have a flat, but like, just because for semester one is the results you will be using for UPU. Tak silap I. And you ada 4 law subjects. So 3 je yang you kena dapat A. Tak payah A pun tak apa. Dia literally macam 2A, 1A tolak pun tak apa. So apa nama tu, ada je yang dapat 3A tolak pun masuk je. Dapat je mana-mana. Like I said, you don't have to pressure yourself because this is the key time to make friends tau. So, literally, I got into UM and di kiri kanan depan belakang member I. Macam tu lah. So dia penting sebab macam Kamalin cakap tadi, legal faculty dekat UM ni kecil je. Like if you see something now, 5 minutes later the other person will know. Macam tu lah. So what I think is, if you have a reliable group of friends, you think that it is reliable in a sense that you guys help each other, then go for it. But if you don't have one, meaning like you just have friends that you go out to eat with, to drink with, to lepak with, like that's your coping mechanism to socialize, then don't study with them. Like retract yourself and know your priorities. Like I said, the most important person right now is yourself. So my tips is for 034, literally just answer a lot of past year questions. For 033, I do answer past year questions, just not properly type it out. I will just tulis content. Maksudnya macam if they ask the legislation, what I will do lah, because I have a reliable group of friends, like my friend, let's say Mia was here, and then I will just like read, okay, first question, how do you do the process, what is the composition of High Court, Mia? Lepas tu macam Mia macam, oh okay, composition of High Court ni macam ni. Lepas tu kita orang tak cakap with proper sentences tau. Kita orang macam, contoh lah the case of siapa yang, okay, contoh lah the case of Beatrice Fernandez kan. Lepas tu kita orang cerita case tu, kita orang macam, kau tahu perempuan tu kan, dia pramugari. Lepas tu dia nak bandingkan diri dia dengan cikgu sekolah. Memanglah dia nak naik flight. Orang passenger naik flight pun tak boleh mengandung. Dia ni pula cakap benda tu discriminatory. Mana boleh macam tu? Macam tu. So like make it fun. You know, kita orang borak biasa pun borak pasal case. Tapi sebab kita orang macam borak pasal makcik kedai kopi sebelah. Macam tu. So do your own thing. Like I literally don't want to give you tips because you would feel accustomed to it. Sedangkan memang setiap cara study tu sumpah lain-lain. Dan I think you should be able to have your kind right now, but all I can say is, in general, make it fun, make it a fun learning experience. Because sampai sekarang, I ingat case Beatrice tu macam tu. I ingat macam dia ni perempuan mana lah nak bandingkan diri dia dengan, dia pramugari, lepas tu dia nak bandingkan dengan cikgu sekolah. Macam tu lah. Lepas tu, the second thing is, betul lah, yang Ashraf cakap tu, betul. I sampai sekarang ingat memang Imam Syafi'i cakap dia rela lah duduk dengan orang yang beradab daripada orang yang tak ada ilmu. Maksudnya adab tu datang dulu. Adab tu datang dulu. Dan what I think people always forget is, and when you get into real life university, you will see that people tend to forget that there is a greater power than us. So bila I tak faham, okay lah, I share tips. I share tips doa if that doesn't sound flexy or cringy. What I always pray is, I always pray in general tau. Maksudnya, I just cakap, God, whatever is best for me, give it to me. If this is the best, give it. Sebab at least when you get it, tak apalah, mungkin ni yang terbaik. Masa I didn't really want it UM, you know. I didn't really want it. I just wanted whatever is best for me. So at least when I got it, I was like, okay, tak apalah. Tak apa. Dapat. Lepas tu, for another thing is, I doa, tolonglah bagi kefahaman kat I supaya I boleh tolong orang lain. Sebab tu I tolong orang in their studies because I feel indebted. Sebab I already prayed to God. Ya Allah, dear God, please tell me, dah bunyi dah, please tell me what is this content in thoughts so that I can help others. So when I do understand it, then I help them because that's me repaying my debt to God. And the third thing is, when you don't understand, you need to understand, as in you need to believe that the understanding comes from God. So maksudnya macam bila you baca banyak kali, you tak faham-faham juga, check balik. Sebab ilmu tu cahaya tau. Ilmu tu cahaya, dia takkan masuk tempat gelap. Dan walaupun dia masuk tempat gelap, macam kita kan kalau bangun tidur tiba-tiba cerah, we need time to adjust our eyes tau. So when we're so used to darkness and just a little bit of light comes into us, we would feel rasa overwhelming. Kita akan rasa macam, betul ke apa aku buat ni? Betul ke apa yang aku faham ni? But just take it as that. Kalau you tidur dalam gelap and then tiba-tiba ada cahaya masuk, you need time to adjust. So maybe that's the way, you know, like the light is coming to you. You just need to hold it, you tahan dia, and then you will get it. At the end of the day, if it's the best for you, I hope it's the best for you, you will get it. So I think I'll have to excuse myself, yeah, and I hope that helps. Walaupun sebesar zarah pun, I hope that helps someone, a person. So thank you so much. I have to leave now.
Thank you so much, Sophia. You got me now. Okay, thank you so much again. You were amazing tonight. Bye, Sophia. Okay, so kita nak ambil masa. So there's Kamalin, Amar, Shazwi. Would you guys like to add to the CGPA tips, study tips before we move to Q&A?
Yeah, sure thing. I probably could add more things what you should do in when you're nearing your examinations. I mean, for me, of course, notes play an important role. I did do notes in UiTM Dengkil during my foundation, but at the same time, I tell you guys, please try to find friends, those quality friends. It doesn't have to be too many friends. Just be friends with those quality friends. Find the right friends. It'll help you a lot, especially in Dengkil. It's not just about study. It's you can go out with your friends. You can just go study with them. Just have have fun with them, and joke around. And maybe like what Sophia said just now. Maybe you guys could talk about the cases in a really santai manner. You don't have to be so formal. Or in the case of blah 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 negligence, just like you know what happened, that you terhantuk though. Like you just make it like a chill session. I mean, it doesn't have to be too formal. And like I said before, like try to study in groups too. I used to study in groups, whether it be I mean, Google Meet can work for me, but when I was in Dengkil for the first sem before COVID, the PKP hit us again. We used to sit around together and maybe study together, do our presentations together. So that really helped a lot for me. Instead of just staying in my room most of the time, I'm not someone who can do stuff alone. I need people with me. So I mean, I need people with me so that I can share my opinion, everything. So it really helps a lot. So as a conclusion for me, have friends there. Just make friends there. It doesn't have to be too big. It can be small, but try to find the great friends, the right friends that can help you along the way. All right? That's really just it lah.
Okay, thank you, Amar. So Kamalin, Chazvi, would you like to add anything?
I would like to add a few things. Sorry, Kamalin. I'm going to say a very brief one. So, in order for you, the tips that I can give for final exams there are three things. First, surround yourself with great people, and second one is do not study too much until you are stressed. And the third one, and the most important one, is to believe in your religion. And for me, I'm a Muslim, so the most important thing is for me to adhere to what the God says. If he asks you to pray, if he asks you to fast, then do it. If he prohibits you from doing something, then don't do it. That's one of the most important things that you should do, even when you are studying. You may not see it as directly, but it is a very great. It's very impactful to your life, especially in your studies and other things in life. But right now we are talking about studies, and surrounding yourself with great people means that if surrounding yourself, I'm not saying that you should surround yourself with people that studies 24/7, but you surround yourself with people that play hard and work hard, so their life are balanced, and you also follow them, because we humans are not an island. We will follow the herd that we are following, and we usually be influenced by our friends. So choosing great friends and surroundings are very important, as when they are study, you will study too. If they play, then you will also play. So, and the third and one of the important thing is also to do past year exams, like Sophia said earlier, past year's questions are very, very important because that's where most of the questions that will come out in your exams be. Only they will change it up a little bit. So the most important thing is the tips that I have is those three. So thank you. That's all from me.
Okay, thank you, Chazvi. And okay, Kamali.
All right, so I echo to whatever the five speakers have stated just now. Everything is very correct, and it's something that we should follow, especially in terms of the religion part. But since you guys asked for a tips, right? So just a disclaimer that you don't have to follow this, but it's just something that I do. Okay, so I wrote it down. Okay, so first, like what the rest of the speakers have stated earlier, past year. Past year is very important, okay? Because the question comes out same format, sama, hari-hari sama. Cumanya kadang-kadang dia tukar ayat je. But basically the answers for the questions are the same. So past years is actually very important. Tapi as we are well aware, we don't have the answers, right, for the past year. So kalau kita buat past year, tapi kita tak check, we don't know, right? So for me, I approach my lecturers and I send my answers to them. But before you send, I email them. But before you email, you WhatsApp lah dulu. You cakap, madam, can you check my answers if it's not burdening for you. Tapi if that lecturer cannot do that, it's okay. You buat, lepas tu you tengok your books ke ataupun you tukar jawapan dengan kawan you ke, you discuss on that matter ke particularly. But I would like to stress that past year is very important. Past year is where all my exercises are from. And the answers yang I tulis panjang-panjang is only the answers that I will ask the lecturers to mark. Yang lain I would do as Sophia did just now. I would just put on the key points of the answers beside the question so that it's not long for me to tengok balik when I nak exam nanti. Alright, so cases. Reading cases can be overwhelming, I know. But at least, because first time when you read cases, it's normal to not understand anything. It's actually very normal. So you don't have to feel macam, kenapa aku tak faham ni? Oh my gosh. You don't have to feel that way because it's very normal. People don't say, but if you ask your batchmate, I don't think all of them know how to read it. Even I struggle to read cases when I'm in my degree. So it's fine. It's really fine. But it requires skill and it will be better by time. That's why I really, really encourage all of you to read at least one cases a day. Tak payah panjang-panjang pun. Maybe cases tu macam 3 pages punya cases, like very short case, but you read it to sharpen your skill on understanding, because you have this subject where where your lecturers teach you how to read cases and reasoning, right? Ratio, orbital, and all that stuff, right? So bila you belajar je, you tak boleh nak apply it tau. It's all theory based. So what you do is you at least read one cases a day. Okay? So that's very good to sharpen your skills. Then as for notes, I don't do pretty notes. I just do notes that are practical and something that I can actually refer and something that I understand. And for notes, you revise what you learn from that lecture terus after that lecture. Ataupun kalau ada class after tu, like at the end of the day, you terus revise balik apa yang you belajar so that it stays in your mind. And before going into lectures or tutorials, please be prepared. So that bila you baca awal-awal, walaupun lecturer tak ajar you lagi, you tak faham tau. You really tak faham. Macam you baca je lah. Oh, macam ni. Tapi bila lecturer tu start to ajar, you understand it even more. Sebab, I did read this yesterday. I did prepare. So then you will have question to ask your lecturers. Kalau you tak baca, lepas you kosong-kosong je masa lecture, then you tak tahu pun apa you nak tanya. So equals to baik tak payah masuk lecture. Something like that. So you need to prepare yourself before you come into lectures and after you habis your lectures. Lepas tu, before you sleep, I always I don't like reading cases before I go to sleep. Like usually I would memorize I think legislations. I would dekat Dengkil, back when I was SEM1, I was studying dekat Dengkil kan. So you have this whiteboard in front of your meja study tau. So dekat whiteboard tu, I akan tulis every legislation yang I ingat. And lepas I dah tulis, I akan buka balik buku legislation tu and I tengok, betul tak this legislation 8 ni untuk equality. Macam tu. Something like that lah. Okay, I think that's all. But I just want to stress that this is how I do things. It's not a template that you all need to follow. And please remember that everyone has your own pace. You know, when you see your friends macam, pandainya dia, kenapa dia faham case ni lagi cepat daripada aku faham? It doesn't matter. It matters that at the end of the day, you understand it too. It doesn't matter who's faster than you. Okay? My senior always say this, but I think we all know that you shouldn't compare yourself with other people. You should compare yourself with your own self, with your past self. Semalam 2 hari lepas macam, okay, you tak faham, semalam you tak faham langsung case ni, tapi bila you baca balik hari ni macam, I can see the issue now. That's an improvement. Although your friends dah siap buat case note lah, apalah, tapi you still baru je faham issue, and that's okay. That's really fine. You just have to find your own pace. You don't have to follow other people. You don't have to macam, dia study macam ni, so kalau aku study macam tu, mungkin aku jadi pandai macam dia kot. You can try, maybe it work for you, but you know, everyone has different study pace, right? So just find your own pace and don't worry about anyone else. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much, Kamalin. So we are short of time, so I don't think we need a Q&A because all of the speakers already gave us so much, right? So that's it. That's a wrap for today's Talk Legal. Thank you so much to for all of the amazing insight and knowledge shared by all of our seniors. It was truly an honor. Thank you to all of the audience for participating tonight. The Mooting Club hopes everyone here has learned something new, for I certainly have. The attendance link has been provided in the chat section, so jangan lupa claim your Coco marks, as this is Mooting Club's last event for this semester. So yeah, that's it. Thanks again, everyone. It was a pleasure. Goodbye, good night. Don't let the bedbugs bite.
Hey, good night, folks. Good luck for your final exam. All the best.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you everyone for tonight's
Good
session.
All right,
luck,
I'll see you guys around.
guys.
See ya. Bye.
Thank you, panels.
Are we still live? Bapak aku seorang je ke ni?